Hello everybody, this is Attorney Shapirali from the Shapirali Law Group discussing about how to bring your spouse to the United States. As you know, this is a continuation of our series, How to Guide on Immigration. And the topic today is how to bring your spouse, either you are a non-immigrant or a US citizen to the United States. Let me start with non-immigrants. For example, if you're an H-1B, you can bring your spouse on H-4 visa to the United States. On TN visa, for example, for those from the NAFTA trade agreement from Mexico or from Canada, you can bring on the TN dependent visa. And also on the E2 visa, you can have the E2, which is the investor visa. E3 visa for Australians also, the dependent can come. And on the H4 visa, if we start, not all the H4 your dependent will be able to work. There are some rules now on the H4 EAD where people can get a work permit depending on your situation, if you have an I-140 approved or if you have reached 6 years. As for the TN, the spouse can work, they get a work permit. And for the L1 visa also, this is another one, you bring your spouse on an L2, they can apply for a work permit. And the E3 visa, which are for Australians, the spouse also can get a work permit. E2 visa, same rule, your spouse can get a work permit. As for the children on H4, even with the I-140, they don't get a work permit, and most of them will not get a work permit depending on the situation. So now we're going to talk, of course, most of those non-immigrant visas. And if, for example, if you have F1 visa, you can bring your spouse on F2. Those are technically either the F1, F2, except in certain circumstances, they will not be able to work. So if you are deciding to come to United States on a non-immigrant visa, make sure you know what are the rules for your spouse, and we can help you on those. Now let us talk about U.S. citizens. Of course, U.S. citizens, when you bring your spouse, there are different ways to bring your spouse to the United States. For one, if you're not married yet, you can bring your spouse on a K-1 visa, which is basically a fiancé visa. But make sure you're not married, because some people get confused on the fact that even if they're married, religiously married, they think they can still bring their spouse on the K-1 visa. But that's not the idea. And you have the K3 visa, which is attached to the I-130 petition, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. You can bring your spouse on that, but it's not relevant really right now because the I-130 petition is being processed really quickly. So the basic idea, if you're married to someone from overseas and you are a US citizen or even a green card holder, you can file the I-130 petition. And if you are a US citizen, the I-130 takes around 5 months to get approved. And after that, it goes to the National Visa Center. From the National Visa Center, you have another 3 months to 4 months. And if everything checks out to be okay, you can prove your marriage. You at the National Visa Center level, you will file the I-864 and the DS-260, and you can bring your spouse here. And of course, there will be an interview at the US consulate of the country where she is from and the country where you're filing from. And the I-130 is usually filed in the United States. The National Visa Center part also is filed there. Only the interview will be taking place in the US consulate, which some countries don't have the US consulate that process marriage petitions. Then you have to go to another country to do that. And I'm not going to list those countries. But the basic idea is a three-step process. First, I-130, then it goes to the National Visa Center, then to the US consulate. And now if you're a green card holder, the same process applies, except it takes a little bit longer time because it's not the same as an immediate relative. However, lately the USCIS have the State Department has reduced the time, so it's taking around 2 years to bring your spouse when you are a green card holder to the United States. But for a US citizen, it takes around 1 year. These are normal time processing time. But now the question is how the paperwork is filed. Well, the paperwork is not difficult, but is very tricky. Small mistakes can result in huge requests for evidence, and they will be questioning, of course, your birth, your US citizenship, and ultimately they will also be questioning your marriage. So make sure you have all this ready, and when you file the paperwork, don't just file it with the forms. You have to put supporting documents. And this is where we come in. We can help you at all the levels, and we have done hundreds of those cases and we have been very successful. And we recommend that you contact us if you need help. The number to call is 510-742-5887. And just to let you know, anything I'm telling you on this video is for educational purposes only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. The number to call is 510-742-5887. And again, if you this video doesn't constitute any attorney-client relationship. If you need help, feel free to call our office again, 510-742-5887. I have an article link at the bottom of this video that might be helpful. And again, of course, you can always have a consultation with us where we can guide you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next video, I say goodbye. This is Attorney Chaparral signing off. Bye-bye.